Hi everyone, it's Katie from Paradise Falls family. In this video we're ending our Hawaii 2023 vlog series by looking at our time in San Jose and San Francisco, where we'd stopped over for a couple of nights on our way back to the UK. We'd initially planned to stop over in San Diego, but unfortunately a hurricane put a stop to that and we had to change our plans the day before we flew. We were lucky enough to find a flight over to San Jose instead, and we were able to change our flights back to the UK around, and still enjoyed a lovely end to a wonderful vacation. We'd set aside 2 nights for a stopover to break up our journey between Hawaii and the UK. As our plans changed at short notice, we had to quickly decide how we wanted to spend our last few days in the US. Fortunately, we'd visited San Francisco the year before, so already had a good idea of some fun things to do, and included some bits that we didn't get around to on our last trip. You can find that vlog on our channel in the California playlist, which gives much more information on planning a trip to San Francisco. With our plans changing at really short notice, first of all we had to sort out a hotel and a car. Our flight didn't arrive until 9 PM, so we didn't want to travel very far. We found a hotel at San Jose Airport and booked a rental car for a few days. We settled on the Homewood Suites by Hilton San Jose Airport and had to book a suite because it was the only room left available. Even so, it only came to around $500 for both nights, which we thought was excellent value considering the size of our room. We had 2 separate bedrooms, a living area, kitchen and 2 bathrooms, and it was a really comfortable stay. If you're in the area and looking for a quick stay, or if you're a family wanting a bit more room, we'd really recommend this hotel. We've included a link in the description below. The hotel also offers breakfast and a pool, but we didn't have time to make use of these. The parking was also free and plentiful, so it was a really easy stay after a hectic few days. We booked the car through Thrifty, just because it was about the only rental company with availability at such short notice. We booked the equivalent of an intermediate SUV for around $150, so pretty cheap, but the extra charges for gas, an extra driver and other things like taxes really weren't very clear, and the final total ended up being almost double this, which was frustrating. The car itself was fine, but we'll definitely stick with our favourites Alamo going forward. Having arrived in San Jose quite late the night before, we had a good lie-in and took some time to rest. We planned to spend the day in San Francisco and managed to find some cheap tickets to the baseball in Oakland that evening. So late morning we headed out for the day. San Jose sits about an hour south of San Francisco and makes up part of the Bay Area. Therefore it's really easy to combine a trip to both. The drive into San Francisco took just under an hour and was really easy, along the highway most of the way and keeping to the waterfront within the city, so not up and down all of the famous hills, and then we reached Fisherman's Wharf. There's a big multi-storey car park just over the road where we were able to park easily for just $20 for a couple of hours. This is one of our favourite spots in the city, with wonderful views over to Alcatraz and of course the famous sea lions at Pier 39, which we all loved seeing again. We had some fun exploring the pier in the arcades and shops and then grabbed some lunch at the Hard Rock Cafe. We'd done this the year before too, but we do love a Hard Rock Cafe, so couldn't resist another trip. After lunch we decided to do some bits we'd not got around to on our last trip. We were going to take the famous tram across the city, but were a little short on time, so instead we moved the car over to downtown San Francisco, finding another multi-storey near Salesforce Park for around $12. This is an elevated park sitting above the Salesforce Transit Centre, and it feels like a little oasis right in the middle of the city. There are elevators up to the park as well as a gondola, and the park has lovely grounds with walking trails, fountains and an amphitheatre. The kids' favourite bit was of course the playground, and we spent about an hour exploring the park and playing. We had a brilliant time, and it felt great being in such a gorgeous park surrounded by massive skyscrapers. Next up was another park, Golden Gate Park, a short drive across the city again. The park is massive and is San Francisco's answer to Central Park in New York. With only a short amount of time, we picked the east end of the park to explore and parked on the street on the southeast corner of the park. The main attraction here was again the kids' playground, which was brilliant and had some concrete slides built into the hill where you slide down on cardboard, which is something a bit different and the kids thought was great. Down here you've also got the carousel, the Robin Williams Meadow and Hippie Hill. To the east end of the park is the Haight-Ashbury area of the city, and we ventured in briefly to visit Amoeba Records, which was a lot of fun. There's loads more to see in this area of the city and a lot of sights for music lovers, so we'd like to come back and spend a bit more time, but it's probably not somewhere the kids would appreciate that much yet. After wandering back through the park, we said goodbye to San Francisco and headed out to Oakland. By now it was around 5:30 and we had just enough time to squeeze in a visit to Fenton's Creamery, just across the Bay Bridge. Fenton's is featured in our favourite Disney film Up, and was apparently included because a lot of the designers used to take their lunch here when making the film. We visited here the previous year and loved it, so really wanted to fit in another quick trip. We again had some amazing ice creams, ordering way too much, and then headed on to Oakland Athletic Stadium, the Coliseum, which was around 20 minutes away. Being completely honest, this seemed in a really iffy part of town, but the parking lot was massive and with the crowd it felt fine. The stadium isn't known for being one of the best, and it was maybe only around 10% full, which seemed absolutely crazy. Nevertheless, we had a brilliant night. We'd just booked really cheap seats in the upper decks, but when an attendant heard our accents, they immediately moved us down to behind the home plate and we had a fantastic view. The game itself against Kansas City Royals had plenty of action, and coupled with all of the snacks, the lovely service from the attendants, plus a walk-off home run to win the game, this was actually one of the best baseball games we've ever been to. As we were told by the staff we love chatting to, they may not have the nicest stadium or the best team, but they have the nicest people, and we completely agree, and they've made an Oakland A's fan for life out of me. The game made it another late night, so afterwards it was straight back to the hotel and to bed, followed by another lie-in the next morning. Our flight home wasn't until the evening, so we decided to spend the day exploring Silicon Valley. After breakfast in the room, packing and checking out, our first stop was the Apple Visitor Centre in Cupertino, over the road from the Apple campus. This was really fun to see, but it's basically a fancy Apple store with a cafe and a rooftop terrace. You couldn't really see much of the campus at all, so not really worth going out of your way for. We heard some people trying to talk their way into seeing more, as they'd come all the way from Germany, but they didn't get anywhere in their quest to see more of the campus, unfortunately. Cupertino itself though seemed really nice, and we decided to stop here for lunch with there being so many options. We settled on the Lazy Dog restaurant, which had a mountain lodge kind of feel, and enjoyed a lovely lunch for around $90 for all 4 of us. Next up in Silicon Valley was the Google campus around 15 minutes away. Much like the Apple Visitor Centre, there wasn't a great deal to see here. You can explore some outdoor areas of the campus and take a few pictures, which was cool, but we didn't spend very long here again. It's another one that's probably not worth going out of your way to see. Our final stop for the day was Stanford University, which was again around 15 minutes away. We've visited a few other campuses in the past like Brown and Harvard, and these were really fun, so we thought with time to kill we might as well take a look. The campus itself though was really quiet with it being August, and although we did have a nice enough walk around and a quick stop in the visitor centre, there wasn't masses to do, so we didn't spend that long here. All in all, not the most exciting of days, but it beats sitting in the airport, and it was fun to see another part of California. Silicon Valley, while a little spread out, was really easy to get around and explore, and we were back at the airport for 5 PM in plenty of time for our flight back to London. Overall, we were really impressed with San Jose Airport. It was new and modern, and although it didn't have that many dining options, it was really quick and easy to get around, and we definitely look to fly in or out of here again. We found you can often find cheaper flights here from the UK as it's less popular than San Francisco, so it's worth checking out. So that brings to an end our wonderful Hawaii and California vacation. This was definitely one of our best ever trips, and the kids have already said they'd love to return to Hawaii one day if we can. It's pretty much the perfect family destination with something for everyone, no matter what you want from your break. If you have any questions or would like any advice on your upcoming trip, please check out our other vlogs or let us know in the comments below. Please also make sure to subscribe to support the channel and catch everything else we've got coming up in 2024 with lots of trips to Europe, the US and Canada planned. Thank you all so much for watching.